All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome in. My name is Alexis Miller, and I'll be your yoga instructor today. So, welcome to the Wild Blue Yonder Media page where we practice yoga and do all kinds of fun things on here. So, this practice is part of the Full Body Awakening series, and we're wrapping up the 4 classes on the heart chakra. So, if you are just tuning into this first class, no problem. And if you've been following along, welcome back. So nice to have you. So, before we get started, just a couple notes. Just make sure that wherever you're practicing today, you're being safe. There's always some inherent risk with everything we do. Notice if you're ready to extend into postures, if you need to modify and come down to the mat, or perhaps just stay in your center posture. Also, keep in mind, I don't often cue water. So, if and when you feel thirsty, of course, please feel free to step off your mat, grab that drink, and join us whenever you feel ready. So, with all of that being said, let's go ahead and find a comfortable seat. Your legs can be crossed, they can be straight out in front of you. You can be up on a prop like I am, or just down on your mat. We'll wiggle back and forth to root into our sits bones, and then we'll sit up nice and tall here. We'll inhale as the shoulders draw forward and up, and then exhale as they drop back and down. One more time, inhale, shoulders forward and up, exhale, back and down. Hands come into a comfortable position, whether on the knees, palms up or down, or in your lap. You're welcome to close the eyes if that feels comfortable for you, or simply find an unmoving point and soften your gaze here today. In the yogic tradition, there are 7 chakras known as the organizing centers for reception, assimilation, and transmission of life energies. The heart chakra is where we come to see the world in terms of relationships and to experience balance. In opening the heart chakra, we transcend the ego and surrender to forces larger than ourselves. It's through this surrender that we begin to transform. In this meeting place between matter and spirit, we begin to find balance. When we're able to achieve balance, it means we're able to integrate the various aspects of our being. This allows us to ascend the chakra system and step deeper into awareness. When we establish balance within ourselves, we also acknowledge our capacity for empathy and compassion. This allows us to forge deeper, more meaningful relationships and develop a sense of deep love for all others that goes beyond a Hollywood definition so many of us have been taught. I invite you to use today's practice as inquiry. How can you center into your heart space and find balance? What will allow you to open your heart chakra and thereby expand your consciousness? So, settling in, taking a deep inhale through your nose, filling the belly, lungs, and chest with air. And then slowly exhale that breath back out. Take another deep inhale, fill the belly, lungs, and chest with air. And then slowly exhale that breath back out. Take another deep inhale as you feel your belly expanding outward like a big balloon. And then exhale as you draw your belly button in toward your spine. Inhale as you feel your torso expand, your collarbones gently lift. And then exhale as you feel your shoulders release down and away from your ears. Inhaling air in your nose, down your throat, filling your lungs, feeling your heart space open here. And then exhale as that contracts back down and the air moves up the throat and out the nose. Continue breathing in this way, inhaling and exhaling with intention, Really noticing the movements of your breath here. If it feels right for you, perhaps, or if you notice that your mind wanders off on a thinking adventure, that is okay. Simply notice the moment you've gone away, celebrate the noticing, and then come back to focusing on your breath. Now, if it's helpful for you, perhaps incorporating a mantra here to help you stay grounded and focused on your breath. Inhale, I center myself. Exhale to expand my awareness. Inhale, I center myself. Exhale to expand my awareness. Remaining here with your breath in whatever way best supports you for just a few more moments today. Remaining here, or sorry, taking another deep inhale here as you set an intention or a purpose for your practice today, which really can be anything at all, but it often answers the question, why did I get on my mat? Take another deep inhale here, feel your intention with the heart and mind. And then exhale the breath out, set the intention off to the side, knowing we'll return to it toward the end of our practice. Lovely. Let's go ahead and roll onto our hands and knees today, moving your props out of the way. Hands come beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips, tops of the feet come onto the floor. We're going to inhale, sink the belly, lift the head and the hips, coming into cow. And then exhale, lift the back, sink the head and the hips, coming into cat. Moving back and forth at your own pace here. Inhales bring you into nice deep cows. Exhales bring you into nice high cats. And as you go through these two stretches here, really tuning into the heart center, that heart space here. Noticing that opening as you sink into cow, that contraction as you sink into cat here. Maybe one more round. Good. And then inhale, let's return to neutral. Go ahead and grab your blocks if you have them. If you don't, it's okay. I will cue you without blocks here in just a moment. All right. So we're going to bring our blocks in front of us. So they're about shoulder width distance apart. We're going to get ready for heart melting pose here. So my knees are beneath my hips to start. I'm going to take my triceps and bring them down onto the blocks here, hands extended straight out. So now you notice my knees are a bit in front of my hips. So I'm going to step my knees back here so they're back in line with my hips here. And I'm going to sink my chest down toward the mat, coming into heart melting pose. Now, if you do not have blocks here today, you're simply going to come into puppy pose instead. So same posture, arms, triceps are reaching down toward the floor, and either chin or forehead is down on the mat. So wherever you are, we're going to take just a couple deep breaths here today. And we're really going to notice that opening through the heart center. This is literally peeling us right open. It's such a gorgeous stretch. And your hands can come together. You can also start to point them up toward the sky, really at any angle, or to really deepen the stretch, you point them back toward your glutes. Notice here, those fingers kind of move like an old-timey elevator notification, floor notification. So notice here what that looks like for you. Allowing that heart space to really open up, especially through the armpits here as well. Feeling the back of the heart space kind of arching here. A couple deep breaths. Great. And then inhale, release those hands. Go ahead, press into the triceps, lifting the head and the torso. Step one arm up and then the other. We're going to bring our blocks wide here, and we're going to start by stepping our right foot forward. We're going to tuck the back toes, lift that back leg, and then inhale, sweep up those arms, coming into our crescent lunge. So our back heel is lifted, eye of the knee pressing toward the top of the room. Front knee is bent in line with the foot and in line with the ankle. Good. Hips are squared. We're tucking the tailbone down so we're nice and open through this hip flexor here on the left side. And then arms are open. We're feeling that nice opening through the heart space here. Good. Palms are turned toward one another as if you're holding like a beach ball between the hands. Great. And then inhale, turn your back heel down so it's at about a 45-degree angle. Take your left arm, wrap it around that back leg, and then turn that right palm so it's facing the back of the mat. And then inhale, lean back, lift through the torso, coming into exalted warrior. So see this opening through the heart center here. We're feeling the pull through the shoulders as we reach up and reach down simultaneously. We're working that front leg. If you need to release, feel free to straighten and then sink back into that bend here. Couple deep breaths. Good. Inhale, sweep that right arm back and around, interlace it with the fingers with the left hand, and then exhale, sink to the inside of your right leg, dipping your chest down. Head comes down to the floor, coming into your humble warrior. So now we're kind of getting that inversion here with the head. We can open up the heart center even further by inhale, lifting those arms up off the back as far as you're able. Option, not a requirement. Taking a couple deep breaths here. We're really working that front leg. You can do this. And if you need extra support, hands can be down on the mat, totally fine, or even on blocks if you prefer. So modifying as you need, taking just a couple deep breaths here. Good. And then inhale, go ahead and lift up, straighten that front leg. Woo, we're feeling the release, maybe tapping out that thigh as you need. And then we're going to go ahead and actually rotate around to the back of the mat here. So now we want our left finger or left toes pointing toward the top of the mat. And we want to start by bringing that back foot, that right foot up onto the ball, squaring the hips at the back of the mat, tuck the tailbone, opening up now through this right hip flexor. Arms sweep all the way up, coming into our crescent lunge. Good. Taking a couple deep breaths here. Eye of that right knee presses toward the top of the room. Good. And then inhale, back heel turns down. So it's at about a 45-degree angle. Take that right arm, wrap it around the left leg, turn your hand. So now it faces the back of the room or the top of the mat, and then lean back here, coming into your exalted warrior opposite side. So again, gorgeous opening through the heart chakra space, feeling that dynamic tension between the arms as one reaches down, the other reaches up. If you need to release, straighten that front leg and then sink right back into it. Be with the challenge here. Let's take a couple deep breaths together. Good. Inhale, sweep that left arm up and behind you. Interlace your fingers. And then exhale, sink to the inside of your left thigh, shoulder to the inside here, dipping the head down, coming into humble warrior. So again, you can stay here, slight bend in that back knee, deep bend in the front knee, or you can also raise those arms up off the back if you'd like, deeper opening through that heart center space. And again, hands can be on the mat or even on a block for extra support if you like here. So notice what expression of the posture that you need to be in here today. Let's take a couple deep breaths together. Good. And then inhale, go ahead, lift the torso, but hands come down to either side of that front foot. Bring that back foot up onto the ball, and then step back into your down dog, really pressing those hips high, moving the chest toward the thighs. Let's take a deep inhale here. And then exhale, drop your knees, untuck your toes, sink back into a child's pose. Elongate the arms, forehead comes down to the floor. So just taking a couple moments here to check in with your body, noticing what is present. That was a big opener here. And some challenge in the legs as we really held those positions in that deep bend. Tuning into that heart chakra space, noticing sensation. Great. When you're ready, inhale, let's go ahead and come up onto the hands and knees. Great work. And then we're actually going to come onto our back, kind of getting ready for our fish pose here. So we're going to go ahead and start with our feet extended straight out in front of us, legs zipped up, and toes are pointing up toward the sky. Okay. Let's go ahead and begin this posture by lowering down onto the forearms behind us. Now, as we start here, maybe this is where you're at, lifting through the chest, looking up toward the sky here. Okay, we're feeling that opening through the heart center. Elbows are beneath the shoulders. Now, if it's in your practice, and you can always place a block on the mat and drop your head down to that instead. But if it's in your practice, we're going to go ahead and tip our chin back as far as we're able, and then start to slide our arms forward as we lower the top of the head down to the floor, coming into fish. Pressing that heart center up, keeping those feet flexed as if they're the tail fin of the fish. Couple deep breaths here, noticing that opening through the heart chakra space, being really careful. And if you need to come out, you are welcome to roll off to one side very gently, pressing into the forearms as you do. Good. Deep inhale. Exhale, press into your forearms, and then again, tuck that chin, roll off onto one side, press yourself on up. Great work. Counter posture here. So our legs stay long, and then exhale, fold forward over the legs, lower that forehead down to the floor here, or to the legs, I should say. So getting that nice length through the back of the legs, feeling that opposite here movement of what we just did. So now we're feeling that opening through the back of the heart space here, as well as a nice stretch to the back of the legs. Good. And then inhale, let's go ahead and come up into center. We're going to come right back down onto our back here. Good. And then drop your knees down to the, or drop your feet down to the mat. So heels are beneath the knees, hands are down on either side of your hips here. Couple options. You can either do bridge, which is what I will demonstrate first, or you can do wheel. So for bridge, we will press into the feet, lift the hips, and lift those hip bones and the glutes and the torso up toward the sky, coming into bridge. We want to squeeze our legs toward the midline as if we're holding a block or a ball there. And the weight should be in the feet and in the shoulders, not in the neck. Gaze stays toward the ceiling, arms are down on the mat. So that's option one. You're welcome to come down while I talk through option two, which is wheel. For wheel pose, our feet start in the same position, but we bring our arms up, hands palm the sky, and then curve your fingers around as if you're trying to touch your shoulders with your fingertips. So hands start beneath the head. On the next inhale, press into the feet, press into the hands, and then lift yourself up into bridge here, looking down between the hands. Good. So whether you take bridge or you take wheel, finding yourself in that position now and taking a couple deep breaths here, noticing that opening through the heart center, through the front side of the body, couple deep breaths. Good. And then wherever you are, exhale, very gently lowering back down to the mat. Little counter posture here. We bring those knees into the chest, wrap the arms or the legs around those arms or arms of the hands around those legs, rocking it out here. Just getting my anatomy all mixed up here today. I've forgotten what body parts are called. Good. And then let's go ahead and just come into stillness. Drop the soles of the feet down to the floor. Bring your arms out to a T here. And then exhale, allow the knees to fall over to the left. If you'd like, you can bring that left ankle to the outside of the right knee, and that leg kind of presses that right knee down, opening up the front side of that right leg. We're also getting a nice, very gentle opening through that heart space here. Couple deep breaths. Good. Inhale, uncross those legs if they're crossed. We're going to go ahead and come into center. And then exhale, legs fall over to the right or the opposite side if you were doing a mirroring me here. And again, you can stay right here or bring the outside of the right ankle to the outside of the left knee. Good. And allow that leg to kind of draw that left knee down. Again, now we're getting a nice opening through the front side of, or the front of that left side of the body, that left leg here. And then noticing that nice opening that continues to be here in that heart center space. Couple deep breaths. Good. And then inhale, we gently release that leg if it's crossed. Bring your knees back up into center and let's prepare for final relaxation. So your legs can stay right here. You can also use props underneath the legs if you want to extend them out. You can also bring those soles of the feet together, knees out wide, blocks or other props beneath the legs if you'd like. It's very nourishing option, of course. You can extend one leg and keep the opposite in for fallen tree, or extend both legs for traditional finer relaxation. You're also welcome to roll onto your side or your belly, or just return to a seated position to treat this final part of practice like a seated meditation. So it's really up to you, whatever feels best for you and your body today. And as we settle in here, just start to notice the breath. Notice how fast or slow it's moving, how deep or shallow. Notice the quality of each breath on the inhales and the quality of each breath on the exhales. Really tune into the rise and fall of the chest, that heart chakra space here. And see if you can allow your attention to just rest right here on the breath. Now, the moment you've noticed you've drifted away, it's okay. Notice it, celebrate the noticing, and then come back to your breath, back to focusing on the inhales and exhales. If it's helpful, perhaps reincorporating the mantra we use at the beginning of the practice. Inhale, I center myself. Exhale to expand my awareness. Inhale, I center myself. Exhale to expand my awareness. Remaining here with your breath in whatever way best supports you for a few more moments. I'm going to get quiet for this final part of practice so you can have it to yourself. Please know that I am watching the time and I do respect yours, and I'll be sure to let you out of this posture before the end of practice. So lean back, let go, and just rest right here. Our true happiness comes from being fully conscious in the present moment, aware of our connection to everything else in the universe. Bringing your attention back to this space, taking a deep inhale through the nose, filling the belly, lungs, and chest with air. And then slowly exhale the breath back out. Take another deep inhale as you begin to wiggle the fingers and toes. Move the arms and legs, gently waking your body up. And when it feels right for you, gently roll onto one side. Pause there with an arm or a hand beneath your head. It's here that I invite you to bring back to mind your intention or your purpose that you set at the beginning of your practice that answered the question, why did I get on my mat? Take a deep inhale here as you feel that intention with the heart and mind. Make your way back on up into a seated position as we close out our practice together today. So finding your comfortable seat, rooting into your sits bones, sitting up nice and tall. We inhale, the shoulders come forward and up, and then we exhale, drop them back and down. Hands come into a comfortable position, whether on the legs, palms up or down, or in the lap. You can also bring them to heart center if you'd like, and close the eyes if that feels comfortable for you. We take a moment to express gratitude for yet another lovely day here on earth, and for our bodies that allow us to do so many things, including yoga. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through this practice today. It was a joy and an honor, and I hope to be able to do so again in the future. The light in me, it sees the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this Hatha 30-minute practice for your heart chakra. I hope that you enjoyed it here today. Make sure to follow me on Wild Blue Yonder Media on YouTube. So subscribe to my channel, share it with friends, especially if you like this practice. Make sure to share it with someone who you think would benefit. You can also find me on Instagram. Make sure to connect with me at Wild Blue Yonder Yoga. And if you have any comments or suggestions, feel free to drop those down in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you for the next part of this full body awakening series, the throat chakra. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you in the next practice. Bye.